Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I know I haven't posted for around 4 or 5 weeks now, but life and work's just got really hectic, and now it's calmed down a little bit, so it's given me a chance to make a new video, and I'm going to do a fish room tour in this video. There'll be some videos, well, video clips of breaking down tanks and rescaping them and stuff. They're just things I've done over the past 4 or 5 weeks that I had recorded. I thought I'd add them into this clip. I will be posting weekly again from now on, well, every week to 10 days, as we're going through a calm period, and I normally take a little bit of time off work over the summer. But we've had a lot of success in the fish room, and let's get into the video and I can show you some of the fish. Just quickly, before we get into the complete tour of all of my tanks and stuff, I'm just going to do a quick rescape on the Zeb tank because I stripped it apart about, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago and never really put it back together. As you can see, that tank is absolutely overrun with sort of like red cherry shrimp culls. There's absolutely, I think there's probably at least 1,000 in there. Absolutely ridiculous, but I'm going to get in there, take out that big old plant pot. Start to see some of the fish that are actually in there. Quite a few super whites and quite a few zebs in there. Come back and have a look in a sec once I've rescaped it. Okay, so I guess we can start the fish room tour with the absolute staple in the fish room, the L236 Basics. As you can see there, he's got a huge spawn and another clutch of eggs in there with him. He's very prolific, this male. And there we've got his females. They're absolutely massive as well. The tank's a pretty standard tank. It's a 160 litre tank. I've got it lengthways on the rack, as I have all of these free. I really only put the plant pots and stuff like that in there to give the real small fry somewhere to go if they escape at an early age. And if we come over to this one here, we've got the L triple threes. These are all wild caught, and this male here is actually on eggs in there. Sorry about the mist from the algae on the glass. So these are probably around 5 to 8 years old now, and they're still prolific breeders as well. Lovely fish. I've got this tank is 117 litres. I've got that one's lengthways as well on the rack, slightly smaller than this one. And in the video you saw just before this with me just reorganising the tank, taking out the big ugly plant pot, you saw that there was quite a few super whites and zebs throughout the tank. They're all growing really nicely now. But here we've got about, I don't know, there's got to be 300-400 shrimp there. And there's still a lot more throughout the tank. I will have to start taking them out. That's exactly what I'm going to do with these lot. I just put a little bit of a spirulina tablet there for them to attract them to the corner, and I will grab them out in a second. In this tank next door, we've got some L471s growing out and some L181s. show you these guys. Show you these guys so you can get an idea of what you're looking at. These fish are all around, I would say, 6 weeks old, 4 to 6 weeks. Some 471 and some L333 King Tiger PLECOs in there, along with, as I just said, the L181s that you can see just here. And it's pretty much the same again in this tank next door. These are probably my favourite PLECOs at the moment. As you can see just here, this female has actually got a lot of damage to her dorsal fin. Seems like she could sort of be in shock at the moment, which we'll have to try and, yeah, we'll probably isolate her, to be honest. And then we've got the male that's on the eggs just here. You can see him. Sorry, my camera just completely focused out then. He's just here. And I actually spotted a couple of the eggs. There's one. You can see him there. L134 leopard frog PLECO actually got out. I'm hoping the escapees don't get eaten, but it's always possible. I have had quite a lot of them grow out just like this in the tank, so hopefully if you can get up in this wood somewhere, it'll be fine. It's more risky trying to get them out at that size than it's worth. End up injuring them. And this is the second rack down. There's some Robine corridors in there. It's a wild caught group. They do spawn, but it's pretty much impossible to get the eggs as they lay them in the sand. I've sifted through a few times and got a few out, but never really had much luck raising the fry. And I'm definitely not willing to put the time into it, what it takes in my eyes to breed them. So I'll probably try and move this group on. There's a few L002 PLECOs in there growing out. You can see the tail of one of them there moving in the wood. But they are stunning corridors, they really are, but just not for me. And in here we've got the second group of my L471 PLECOs that we divided up. Tanks last time. See if we can see the female that was injured anywhere, but she is absolutely fine now. They're both males in there. Maybe she's up here. Or where she is at the moment, but yeah, they're absolutely fine. These guys. This is just a little tank I set up the other day for my L134 babies to go in. Just give it a little vacuum off from the bits of mold that are in there. And that'll be good to go for them. And we'll just hop below quickly, just down here, where some of you that have watched my previous videos would have seen I've got my gold laser Cory breeding group in here. They have spawned twice, but the eggs just, every time, they're like 50% of them are non-fertile, and then I just, with work being so busy, I haven't been changing the meth blue like I should have been, and they fungused. So when I've got time off work, I will put a little bit more effort into breeding these guys. And just along next to them is the shell dwellers tank. which I moved out of the tank, which I just showed you the L134 babies will be going into. This is just the top view of the tank. The decent sized tank, as in floor space, an old turtle aquarium. Everyone seems to be pretty happy. I just put these platies in there. Just going to move them out of the tank that the L397 that you're about to see will be going into. I just had them in the tank with plants, quarantining them. So I've just shown you guys the right hand side of the fish room. So I'll just show you up here. We've got some of the L236 basics in here growing out. People that follow the channel would have seen all of these tanks before. There's a lot of mulm in there just because simply a lot of fish you have to feed a lot of food and do a lot of water changes. Do 50% every 2 days on my grow out tanks, and then I do sort of 20 to 30% every 2 days on all of my other tanks. That's the old dark night ram, not looking so dark or much of a night anymore. He just kills his partners, so I'm probably going to get rid of him. If you're in the UK and you want a nice ram for your community tank or something like that, give me a message and I can sort it out. I post pretty much anywhere in the UK. The same with this guy, but the thing is, the Ivanocoras, they will have to be species only. That is the only bad thing, because these guys have got eggs again. These Ivanocoras, this is a pair in here, and they don't really particularly get aggressive with each other, but when they're spawning, they will kill anything in the tank. And I'm serious as well. They'll kill your PLECOs, your cories, anything, even probably up to 5 times the size of it. They'll just keep on and on and on it. But here's the leopard frog PLECOs grow out tank. Some absolutely stunning fish in here. I'm not going to lift all the wood up and disturb them, but you can get a good idea of what's in these tanks. These are all around 5 to 6 centimeters now. It doesn't look it, but there's actually about, I think there's still about 45 or 50 in here. And there's a few L236 basics growing out, some really high grade ones that I decided to separate off myself. Here's the other tank of the L471 I keep. Some really nice fish in here. They've had a few spawns since I moved them in here. With any luck we may see a couple of the fry. I did manage to grab out most of them, but there's always a few that escape. And down here, this will be the new tank for the L397 that you've seen in the tank that's behind me here. They'll be coming over here once they're finished in quarantine. I just want to give them another couple of days. I'll move their caves and all of the wood, spare wood I've got into this tank for them. They're messy fish, but they're absolutely lovely, and I always regretted getting rid of mine ever since I got rid of them pretty much the next day. And we've just got some just random cories really. We've got some Triliniatus, some fairy cories, and some bronze cories down there at the back. We've got a couple of old emerald green brokers from an old breeding group I used to have. It's just two boys we've got left now, so, and they're really old. So we'll just finish off the Fishroom tour. In the next video I'll be showing you all what I feed, exactly how I feed all my PLECOs, how many times a day, what brands of food, and what I feed my grow outs and stuff like that if anyone's interested. So in there was the L136. We've actually got this guy trapping at the moment, that's why I was a bit hesitant to leave the camera there or not, but just to show you him trapping. He's got a female wedged in there with him, so hopefully with any luck that'll come with something. And then we've got the other big male there in his cave. These are probably my second favourite fish in the fish room, the L333 albinos. Some really stunning fish there. I think this male's on eggs on your right, so we'll get the light out of his face for a minute. And then we've got a lot of females just hanging around, sort of waiting for their turn to go into one of the caves. I really need to sort out my male to female ratio in these tanks, as a lot of these fish you can see taking up even the caves are actually females as well. I think I've got 9 females to, I think I've got 3 males, and I think it's these 3 here in these caves, which I don't know why they choose to sit next to each other. But let's go and take a look at the L134 males on eggs, and I might pull a couple of the eggs actually right now. Okay, so I've just set up my this BL2 breeder box in there. See, it's just there, still a little gap. I've got a lid to go on it, so it's all good. I'm going to be taking the eggs from this male here that you can see. He's going to be trying to get them, so I'm going to get to it and pull them before he probably eats them. And that male's there is the one that's raised the fry successfully. I may try and shake his out, I'm not too sure yet, but let's get to it and get the eggs out. So just like that, how you just saw in the time lapse, we pulled out all the babies. There was more than I thought in there. I thought there was only 12, it looks to be like sort of nearly 20. So that's a really good little batch of eggs we got here from that guy. The guy in the corner, I decided to leave him just because he wedged himself right in straight away, so I didn't want to risk tin. Just, yeah, I don't want to risk him eating the eggs. I want to keep as many of these as possible. The male still hasn't returned to his cave as of yet, but he's got a female waiting this side of it and another on the other side of this guy's cave, and there's a female here as well. So hopefully he heads back to his cave soon and gets another spawn on the go in the next 3 to 4 days. I'm going to roll some clips now of me throughout the last 3 or 4 weeks, just sorting bits out in tanks and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Yeah, really appreciate the fact everyone's still been subscribing, even though I haven't been posting much, but there's some good videos to come now this summer. Like I've been saying in the last videos, the outside tubs are all set up and ready to rumble. So yeah, hopefully you join for that. So I'm going to end the video there and leave some bits to play after I've gone. So thank you very much for watching, and give us a like, give us a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. So we're just gonna come round, take out everyone out of this tank and strip the tank down, and take out all of these little babies that you can see sort of there pretty much everywhere throughout the tank, and take them all out because there is quite a few of them now. Trying to save as many of them as we possibly can. So halfway through taking everything out gently, I sort of thought, why not give the whole tank a rescape? It hasn't been done for a while, so I pulled everything out I could, and underneath all of the bogwood and the caves on the bottom rack that hadn't been moved for a while, it's all of the bloodworm, sorry, Australian blackworm, that actually lives in the substrate in here. Yeah, obviously I used to feed this tank quite a lot of blackworm, and then I realised that quite a few breeders in the United States actually do put blackworms in their PLECO tanks, and then when the blackworms aren't eaten by the PLECOs, it creates sort of like a living food source in the tank for them. And obviously they keep his gravel good in places where it can become aerobic or anaerobic, which one now, but yeah, as you can see one there floating past him. But we're just going to carry on sorting this out and getting as many of the little ones out as we can, and then I'll rescape it. So I just finished sorting through as many babies as I possibly could. I'm going to have a quick count up of these, and then I'll show you the new tank. Just need to top it up. And this is how I've rescaped the L333 tank. I went for the more scattered, traditional way I usually used to do it, to be honest. I never used to stack caves how I do now. They were always scattered out throughout the tank, some of them loose, so they could be almost moved around. But yeah, this is actually 5 days later, and this male in there's on eggs, if you can see him in there. Stressing out too much, but these are the 3 most dominant males at the front, not this one on the left, but these 3 here, and the 3 brown caves. Now I'm going to go and strip out a tank in the storage room. So after the last month I've been pretty busy at work, and this tank has been utterly neglected, as you can see, which is never good to do that to your fish. And this is how we got it to, pretty much. I've got a few more bits of wood to go back in there, but just going to give the glass a good clean down. All the PLECOs are pretty much underneath that rock. I'll put the flash on there so you can have a look at them. There's one big male there, But yeah, overall, the tank's looking a lot better. We have a new friend that I'll be showing the channel soon. I'll probably do a video on him in the next video. But yeah, he's pretty cool.